There are military machines so colossal they require specially designed traffic lanes just to turn. These are not just trucks, they are mobile fortresses, born from crisis. Their purpose is defined by the extreme: to haul a crippled tank from an active warfront, to deploy a strategic missile launcher from a hidden position, or to cross the planet's harshest terrain where no roads exist. For decades, these vehicles have operated in the shadows, their existence a functional secret. This level of engineering begs a fundamental question: what kind of threat demands a machine that can move a 60-ton tank or a nuclear-capable missile on its back? To understand their genesis, we must return to the battlefields of World War II, where the first problem demanded a titanic solution. The first crisis that demanded an engineering miracle erupted on the battlefields of World War II. By 1943, Allied armor losses had become critical. The fields of Europe were graveyards for M4 Sherman tanks, many disabled but not destroyed, a catastrophic loss of assets. The US Army needed more than a truck. It needed a field surgeon for tanks. The solution was the M25, built by Pacific Car and Foundry. Its nickname, the Dragon Wagon. Its mission, recovery. The machine would crash through to the front lines, its armored cab deflecting shrapnel and small arms fire. Under constant threat, its crew would attach massive winches to a crippled Sherman tank. Then, the sound. The deep growl of its 18-liter Hall-Scott gasoline engine turns into a strained, metallic roar, fighting to pull a dead weight of steel from the mud-soaked ground. A single machine hauling a 40-ton payload, the equivalent of 8 adult African elephants. This was not a transport vehicle. It was a tactical weapon. The six-wheel drive system and reinforced suspension allowed it to traverse terrain where roads no longer existed. It was designed to retrieve valuable assets directly from the combat zone, saving millions of dollars in equipment and returning experienced crews to the fight. An engineering titan born from pure necessity. But its ability to move 40 tons over the ruined roads of Europe was just the first step in an engineering arms race. If the Dragon Wagon solved the problem on the battlefield, the next crisis was geographical. Warsaw Pact engineers needed a machine to wage war not against an army, but against nature itself, against Siberian frosts and Carpathian mud. The answer arrived in 1967, the Tatra T813. The engineering philosophy was a radical departure from Western design. Instead of a flat, rigid ladder frame, Czech engineers built the truck around a central backbone tube. All power and drivetrain components are sealed inside this steel spine, protected from mud, ice, and impact. From this core, swinging half-axles connect to each of the 8 wheels. The result is a mechanical miracle. Each wheel moves independently, allowing the chassis to twist and conform to the most extreme terrain. One wheel climbs a boulder, another drops into a ditch, but all 8 maintain contact with the ground. Maximum traction, always. This was not a truck designed for roads. This was a land vehicle designed for planets without them. Powering this system was a V12 air-cooled diesel engine. The key detail? Air-cooled. No radiator, no water jackets, no coolant to freeze solid at -40 degrees. Its operation was defined by a constant metallic hum, the sound of immense fans forcing air over the cylinders, a sound of pure mechanical reliability. Its design was so unkillable that many T813s are still working in mountains and forests, having outlived the country that created them. But tactical missions and geographical barriers were dwarfed by the ultimate crisis of the 20th century: the threat of nuclear annihilation. To answer it, a new machine was born. Its purpose was not to move cargo. Its purpose was to shift the balance of power on Earth. This was the 9K714 Oka, a mobile theater ballistic missile system deployed in 1979. It was not a truck. It was a self-propelled launch pad for the OTR-23 missile, engineered by the Minsk Wheel Tractor Plant, or MZKT. On the move, its sound was overwhelming. A V12 diesel engine with a displacement of 38.8 liters. That is the combined engine volume of 20 passenger cars, a roar of pure, unrestrained force. But its true function began in silence. The vehicle finds its secret position deep in a forest and the engine cuts out. The mechanical thunder is replaced by absolute, tense stillness. Inside the hermetically sealed cabin, operators work at control panels, their faces lit only by the green glow of instruments. Then, a low hydraulic hiss breaks the quiet as the massive container holding the missile begins its slow, deliberate climb to the vertical launch position. This machine was more than an engineering marvel, it was a geopolitical weapon. The Oka's existence and its true capabilities directly contributed to the collapse of one of history's most critical disarmament agreements, the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. This single vehicle helped rewrite the rules of the Cold War. Most of the Oka complexes were destroyed, but some remained at secret bases, fully combat ready, just in case the world needed them again. Modern warfare demanded machines that could move tanks and missiles. The Soviet Union's first answer to this challenge was an engineering monster born in 1959, a symbol of limitless Soviet power, the MAZ-537. Designed by the Minsk automobile plant, its purpose was singular: to haul strategic cargo across any terrain imaginable. The mission was absolute, whether it meant crossing a Siberian swamp or an Asian desert. At its heart was a power plant derived from a tank engine, the D12A525A, a 38.8-liter V12 diesel generating 525 horsepower. Its engine displacement is equivalent to 20 Toyota Camry engines, all firing at once. This raw power was sent to a full 8-wheel drive system, enabling it to move 50 tons of payload, without roads. This was a machine built for planetary extremes. Imagine the Arctic Circle. A blizzard whites out the horizon, a sound cuts through the wind, the deep guttural roar of the diesel engine. You hear the mechanical groan of massive tires biting into ice and frozen earth, refusing to slip as the machine relentlessly pushes forward. But its most iconic test was not hauling a missile, but an entire bomber. First, the aircraft is revealed. A Tupolev Tu-22M, 120 tons of strategic metal dominating the airbase. Next, the tractor pulls alongside, its cab barely reaching the bomber's engine intakes, a stark contrast in scale. Then, the engine roars, the tow bar strains, and the entire 120-ton aircraft begins to move slowly, deliberately across the frozen tarmac. The MAZ-537 established a philosophy of brute force engineering, an unstoppable machine for any problem. While the Soviet Union perfected its all-terrain Leviathan, the United States was forging a different kind of weapon. While the Soviet MAZ-537 was built to conquer frozen wilderness with 8-wheel drive, the United States presented a different philosophy in 1976, a more pragmatic answer for a global military, the Oshkosh M911. Its signature was not the sound of grinding through mud, but the deep, rhythmic rumble of a Detroit diesel 8V92A engine. This V8 power plant delivered a steady 1,900 Newton-meters of torque, channeled through a robust 6x4 wheel configuration, power to the rear wheels only. This was not a machine for extreme off-road assaults. It was a highway workhorse engineered for endurance. The mission was logistics. The M911 was designed to operate in tandem with the M747 semi-trailer, forming a standardized heavy transport unit for NATO bases. Its purpose was to move assets reliably over thousands of miles of established roads. Total specialization. Together, this combination could haul the early M1 Abrams battle tank, a payload of up to 60 tons, the weight of 10 adult African elephants on a single platform. This was a doctrine of economic efficiency, not brute force. A reliable tractor for a world connected by pavement. This philosophy proved so effective that many M911s were later sold for civilian service. The American M911 was a standard for the 1980s, but the new century demanded a different kind of machine. By 2005, NATO required a unified answer for its global missions, from the deserts of Afghanistan to the jungles of Africa. The response came from Germany, returning to the full 8x8 wheel formula, but on an entirely new technological level, the MAN HX77. This machine represents a fundamental shift in design philosophy. The focus moves from the engine to the operator. For a soldier in a Cold War-era truck, an explosion under the wheels was a catastrophic failure. For the crew of an HX-77, it is a survivable event. The entire design process starts from inside the armored cabin, a reinforced cell built specifically to deflect the blast from mines and improvised explosive devices. The mission is no longer just about delivering the cargo. The crew must survive the journey. To achieve this, the truck is built around a powerful but predictable core. Its MAN D2066 engine provides a steady 2,100 Newton-meters of torque, managed by a smart automatic transmission that keeps the platform stable on any terrain. This predictable power allows the driver to focus on the environment, not the machine. On its back, it carries a payload of 15 tons. That is the weight of 3 armored Tiger vehicles, or an entire platoon with full combat gear. This is the new doctrine of Western military logistics. Not extreme power, but modularity, standardization, and above all, crew protection. It's a lesson written in the harsh realities of modern asymmetric warfare, a lesson proven effective across more than 20 allied nations. Over 15,000 units have been delivered worldwide. But while NATO focused on the modularity of the MAN HX-77, the Soviet Union pursued an escalation of pure power. In 1981, they created a specialized monster with a singular mission: to move main battle tanks anywhere, at any time. This is the KZKT-7428 Rausich. Its core is the YAMZ-8401 1010 engine, a 38.9-liter V12 turbo diesel generating 650 horsepower. But its true measure is torque, 2,700 Newton meters. That's nearly 1.5 times the pulling force of the American M911. It even surpasses the legendary MAZ-537. This isn't just a number, it is a physical process. The 38.9-liter diesel awakens. A low-frequency hum vibrates the ground itself as the machine takes the strain of a 90-ton load on a steep incline. There is no hesitation, just pure mechanical force. This autonomy and power is matched by autonomy and range. The camera pans across its oversized fuel tanks, a clear statement of intent. A map of Russia fills the screen. A line is drawn from Moscow south to Volgograd, a journey of over 1,000 kilometers. The Rausich can make this journey on a single fill, no support needed. It was the culmination of a doctrine, not a general-purpose vehicle, but a specialized weapon of logistics. The apex predator of heavy transport, engineered to give Soviet armor unmatched strategic mobility. But if this is the peak of specialized power, what happens when the very ground becomes the enemy? A new problem demands a new titan. A post-war army needed more than a vehicle to move cargo. It required a mobile base, a platform capable of carrying strategic weapons across any terrain. The answer arrived in 1960, the MAZ-7310. This was not a truck. It was a platform that would define Soviet missile forces for decades. The core design philosophy was total universality. A bare 8-wheeled chassis rolls off the Minsk assembly line. A crane lowers a Scud missile launcher onto its frame, locking it into place. On another line, the same chassis receives a massive radar array, transforming into a mobile eye in the sky. The MAZ-7310 was a blank canvas for military engineering, ready for any mission. The heart of this system was its power plant, the D12A525A, a 38.8-liter V12 diesel. Under a 20-ton payload, its engine produces a low-frequency, visceral hum, the sound of pure, unfiltered mechanical power vibrating through the Earth itself. This was the sound of a mobile launch pad on the move. Stretching over 12 meters, its frame was as long as a modern articulated city bus. It was a Titan built for the Cold War battlefield, but its ultimate test of reliability came from an entirely different frontier, the space race. In the 1970s, the same machine designed to carry weapons of destruction was entrusted with transporting components of the Soyuz rocket, proof of absolute trust. This platform proved a system could carry immense strategic payloads, but a new question was emerging on the modern battlefield. What if you need to move not just a missile, but a 70-ton main battle tank directly to the front line? The solution for moving 70-ton tanks arrived from Minsk in the early 2000s, the MZKT-74135. This is no longer a universal platform, but a specialized surgeon of the battlefield, equipped with an American heart, a Caterpillar C18 engine. That 18.1-liter diesel generates 700 horsepower, but the critical number is its torque, 3,200 Newton meters. This immense rotational force is managed by a fully automatic transmission, a stark contrast to the purely mechanical systems of its Soviet predecessors. The driver simply selects a mode, road, sand, or deep mud, and the system adapts, keeping all 8 wheels turning with maximum traction. The MZKT was engineered not as a standalone truck, but as one half of a single integrated system. The other half is the CHMZAP-9990 semi-trailer. As a 70-ton tank, like the T-14 Armata, rolls onto the trailer's ramp, the tractor's hydraulic suspension actively works to stabilize the load. It is a single unified weapon delivery system with an operational range of over 1,200 kilometers. This is the core evolution. Soviet design prioritized mechanical simplicity. The MZKT represents a new philosophy, using the best available global technology for a single critical mission. The cabin is a protected capsule with digital controls and ballistic shielding, designed for high-risk, long-range logistics. A 70-ton payload, moved at speed, across any terrain. But even its ability to haul the weight of a main battle tank pales in comparison to a machine built to carry a doomsday weapon. A weapon of last resort requires a carrier of equal magnitude. Meet the CAM-AZ-7850, a machine whose existence is confirmed mostly by satellite imagery and classified reports. Its mission is not transport. Its mission is to guarantee the inevitability of a retaliatory strike. This is not a truck. Parked next to a standard cargo vehicle, it looks like a moving building, a piece of architecture designed to dominate the landscape. Its length exceeds 20 meters. That's 4 Hummer H1s placed bumper to bumper. To see it is to feel a sense of profound scale and quiet dread. This is the physical embodiment of strategic deterrence, a mobile fortress. The engineering is absolute. 16 wheels, a 12x12 drive configuration. The engine is a YMZ V12 diesel delivering 800 horsepower. The torque, 3,400 Newton meters. This power is not for speed. It is for relentless forward motion. The chassis is a platform for an intercontinental ballistic missile. The hydraulic suspension works tirelessly, keeping the 80-ton launch container perfectly stable as the vehicle moves through Siberian forests and across frozen tundra. Each wheel articulates, absorbing the terrain, ensuring the weapon inside remains secure. The system's only purpose is to reach a launch point, undetected, unstoppable. The contrast is absolute. The exterior is a monolithic block of engineering, designed to be invisible to radar and resilient to attack. But inside its main module, a silo is raised vertically from the chassis. This machine doesn't just carry a weapon, it becomes the weapon. There are no public demonstrations, no parades. Its only role is to disappear into the vastness of the continent, a ghost waiting for a signal that must never come. The last time a column of these machines was officially recorded was by a satellite in 2014, moving across the desolate expanses of Siberia. Since then, there has been complete silence. From the modular platforms of the 1960s to the spectral ICBM carriers hiding in the Siberian taiga, these are all icons of engineering. They are built not simply to move weight, but to execute missions. Their purpose is to deliver the instruments of power, tanks, missiles, and entire mobile bases across the planet's most unforgiving landscapes. Frozen forests, scorched deserts, active combat zones. Each machine is a testament to human ingenuity, a solution designed for environments where most people would never dare to go. Which of these machines made the greatest impression on you? Let us know in the comments below. For more deep dives into the technology that defines our world, subscribe and activate notifications. We will see you in the next one.